Hello guys, welcome to my next C# tutorial, and in this tutorial we will look at methods or functions. First, remember, main is a method and it's marked as static. We cannot access non-static methods from a static method that are in our current class. So if we have a method in our program class that is not marked as static, we cannot access it in our static method. Now in brackets, that's something we will learn later on. We can access non-static methods in our static method if we create an instance from our target class. Methods can be overloaded. We will do that in part 2 of the methods or functions, whatever you call it. And methods can have as many parameters as you want. Okay, but that's enough for now. Let's code something. So for example, we have two integers, and var1 and var2. var2. And we assign var1 equals 10 and var2 equals 20. Okay. Now we are adding a method called add. We want that our two variables, we want to add them together so that we get 30 in the end. So we make another integer int called result equals, and now we will create a method called add. And this method has two parameters, variable 1 and variable 2. As you can see, we get an error here because there is no method called add, and we will add them now. So the first thing we need in methods is an access modifier. What's an access modifier? If you have a program with many classes and stuff like that, you need to define how safe is your method. For example, if we use the public keyword, that means that our method can be accessed from all other places in our program. Like if we make a class library where only our classes in, that means that we can access that method from another program that uses that class library. So in our case we will use private. That means we can only access this method in our program class. We cannot access from any other class or from any other place in our program. So we use private. Then we need a return type. Return types are basically classes. We can use every return type as we want. In our case we will use int because we will add these two variables, and we are having an integer here called result, and our method needs to return an integer. So private int add. And now we make a bracket, and in our parameters that are the code in our between our brackets, int var1 and int var2. Okay, now we have our basic method, and as you can see here we get an error. Why? Because we are not returning something. So we need to add return at the end of our method. So we return var1 plus var2. And as you can see, no error in this method, but we still have an error here. And you can see that we cannot access our add method in our static void main because it's not marked as static. Okay, now we get no error, and we do console.writeLine result. Okay. If we run our program now, you will see we get 13. So that's a basic method. There are a lot of other methods like private, static void. Void means that it will return nothing. So we can use, for example, subtract. In our case, we will use no parameters now. So as you can see, if we replace only that with subtract, then you can see we cannot convert void into int because void returns nothing. You also need to remember, if you use return, then it will exit the method. So everything we write under our program or under our return statement, then it will not execute this line because the method starts here. It will do this line, and then the program sees, or the compiler sees, okay, return. Now I'll leave this method and jump back to this line, and the next line I'll execute is this. So as you can see, we also get 2 warnings here. Unreachable code detected. So this code line we will never reach that code line. A little addition to the void return type is we cannot use return 10 plus 20 here because it's void, and void does not return something. If we wanna leave that method, we can only use return. So we are saying a little example, for example, int I equals 10, and now we are checking if I equals 10, then we will use, or then we will return our method, and we say else console.writeLine else was executed. Okay, and I'll comment that out, this too, and now we'll call subtract, and you see we should get nothing in our console because we set I to 10, and that's true. If you set that to 20, then we'll see else was executed. So basically the thing you should remember between void and any other return type is, in void you don't need the return word at the end. For a method with the return type from not void, then you will need the return type at the end. Then you need to return something. Okay. Methods that are non-static are working in the same way. So private void subtract, this method is now non-static. and you will see we cannot access this method. No, we haven't. But we can create an instance. So program p equals new program, and now you can see we have our subtract method here, and you will see it's marked as private. You will see that in this little symbol down here. Basically, oops. This square with no symbol at the corner means that the method is public. With a star means that the method is protected, and yeah, this little symbol here means that the method is private. So yeah, we will learn about instances like I made here. We'll learn about that later. Oh, also you noticed maybe that we will not see our main method here because yeah, it's marked as static, so we can only access the if we do that static. So program, and now we set a dot. You will see we have our static methods called add and main here. We also have reference equals and equals. These methods are inherited from the object class, and these methods will always be there. Okay, so I guess that's it for part 1 in our methods. The next thing we will do is overloading methods, and yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, also don't forget, as you can see here, static void main means as you can see we don't have a access modifier like public or private, or the next access modifier is internal, and then we have also protected. These are our 4 access modifiers, and if you don't have an access modifier before your method or before any of your variable, it will always be marked as private. So keep that in mind. You don't need the access modifier if you make a private variable, but if you are an advanced programmer like me, then I'll always set access modifiers, because I think this code is easier to read than if you know, okay, that doesn't look shitty. That's all my private variables, my protected, my internal, and my public variables. And yeah, yeah, that's it for the methods or functions, whatever you call it. And we will see you in the next tutorial with overloading methods. Yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed. If you have, a rating would be much appreciated. And yeah, see you in the next episode, guys.